Hi everyone, it's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue. Sunday, and we've been working on cards using the Cricut Joy, which is the latest machine by Cricut. It releases on March 1st, which means it will be available everywhere come March 1st, and that includes the Cricut website, as well as, all your favorite local craft outlets. So, a lot of stuff that's come up lately with this launch, some misconceptions that I wanted to address, at least in terms of the materials, because a lot of people have said, oh, well, I have to buy everything new, and I don't want to do that. And actually, that's an incorrect assumption. Yes, the machine does use its own blade, but you do get one with purchase. You also get a mat and a pen that comes with your purchase. So to do regular crafts, and that includes iron-on, vinyl, and writing things, infusible ink, even the infusible ink transfer sheets. You can do all that with the Cricut Joy pretty much right out of the box. You will need to have materials, and in some cases there are materials called smart materials, and this is one example. It's a smart vinyl. There's also smart iron-on, there's infusible, there's smart label as well. So what makes this smart? What makes it smart is that it doesn't need a mat. Does that mean that you can't use your own vinyl, your existing vinyl? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that you'll have to use a mat when you want to use the vinyl that you already have. So you have a choice. You can use the smart vinyl without the mat, or your regular vinyl with the mat, okay? And so that's that. Same thing with the cards. Cricut came out with this wonderful card deck or card set that includes this size card, as well as inserts for the card and envelopes. Very convenient, especially for someone who doesn't have a stockpile of cardstock. But what about people who do have a stockpile of cardstock like me? Well, you can always make your cards, or you can purchase them like this. Not everybody's going to want to do the quick cut cards, which is where the front of the card is cut through, and then you put the insert here. Not everybody's going to want to do that. Some people are going to want to build a card similar to what I've done here, which is basically the card. This is the card base, and then it has all these layers, and so it has this mat, and this has this doily, and then it has this nice embellishment. I mean, I could have gone further and further with this by putting a little tag here with something written on it, and I have done that before. But basically this card came from one sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11 actually. This is 8.5 by 11 inch cardstock, and I get this from my local Michael's. They sell it in packs, 8.5 by 11, and it's a very nice cardstock. It's very reasonably priced. You can usually get 50 pieces of colored cardstock, not just white. It comes in black and neutrals, as well as all the colors of the rainbow. Sometimes there's even foils and some special treatments and patterns as well. So they do sell these, and they sell them kind of seasonally too. And I think the base price on these for a pack of 50 is usually like $5.99, but you can buy them on sale for usually for around $2 or $2.50 for a pack. So from a pack of 50, you can get 2 cards out of this one sheet of 8.5 by 11, because when you cut this sheet in half like this, it creates 2 of what's called an A2 sized card. Okay, so it's 8.5 by 11. If you're going to cut along the long way, you'd be cutting at 5 and 8.5 by 11, 5.5. So I'm going to just show you real quick how you would do this. I use a cutter because for precision, and this just happens to be a Cricut cutter, but there's all kinds of cutters out there. You do not have to have a Cricut cutter to do that. So I put it in and at the 5.5 mark, and then I slice it in 2. And that's it. That is simply it. And you have now 2 card bases. What about the scoring? Well, you know what? Since the dawn of card making, most people used to score with either, by their own self or with the boning folder, and you don't necessarily need a scoring wheel. I mean, the scoring wheel is nice and essential for things that require a lot of scoring, but it's not necessary for regular cards. So you just take that 2 pieces, fold them in half, and there you go. There's your card base. Now, then what you have to do is build on the card. And oh, by the way, you could also take this card and use the card mat, okay? You could use it the same way we were using the card mats, the card mat with the pre-folded, pre-cut cards. You can still do that, just so you know. But in this case, I'm just going to use it as the base, okay? And you can get as fancy as you want with this, but basically I have to cut out this, then the doily, and then the flower, and this, the center, and the leaves, and then just assemble it. This is basic card making at its best. So I'm going to get started on it. And I set this up. I'm using, and I want to just point out, I'm using my iPhone, but you do not need to use your iPhone to make things with the Joy. You can use your tablet, iPad, you can use your laptop, you can use even your desktop. It's not a necessity. You can use an Android phone as well. So I'm using, whoops, here we go. So I'm using my iPhone, and I'm also using the long mat. I don't know, it's habit, I guess. The short mats are fine too. You could use the short mats. But so what it does is it lays it out just as it would for your maker or for your explorer. It lays it out in mats by color. So the first thing that it's going to cut out, yeah, okay, great. So the first thing it's going to cut out, I thought I saw it moving, is the daisies. See, it's not moving. Okay, good. Yeah. So and you can reposition, by the way. It's not really showing here, but you can reposition it. So sometimes the machine will, not the machine, Design Space will tell you need so much space, so much paper, or so much material, but if you finagle it a little bit, you can fit it on to the right hand side. I don't know why it does that, but you can modify it just so that you know. So so now we're going to be cutting out the flower, and then we're going to do, oh, I don't know what's next, but there's the leaves, there's the center, and then the lace piece, and then the mat. So let's see what's next. And this is it, right? There you go. I didn't put this paper on correctly. That's my fault. That's not the machine, that's my fault. But anyway, so here's the 3 pieces that are for the flower. And the next up is the mat. So I'm going to use it for this one. I'll use this purple-y color. And I put it in. And remember, there's no buttons on this machine. It's all controlled by your design space. So when I'm ready, and the machine does blink, but there's nothing to touch. There's nothing to activate on the machine. It's all done on your design space. So I'm ready, I hit go. So it doesn't like rush you, or you don't feel rushed to do it. I mean, I don't know if you've ever felt rushed by the machine. Sometimes I do. But it's a pretty easy, very, just very basic. It's slightly different than what you're accustomed to if you have a machine, but it's not altogether foreign. Okay, and so it's easy to sort of adapt if you are already used to it. One good thing is too, for new users who haven't had a lot of experience with design space and with the other machines, they won't be bogged down with some of the really tedious things that come with having machines that have, the adaptive tool system. Although very, very powerful, the adaptive tool system can be a little overwhelming, I guess, for some people to get used to. Which tool do I put in, and when do I have to turn, and can I use the scoring stylus, or must I always use the scoring wheel? And actually, you can use the stylus when you're making cards in the maker. You do not need to use the wheel, and or if you don't have the wheel handy, or you just don't want to take it out to just have one score down the side of your card, you can use the stylus, and you just go to edit tools and edit it so that it goes from the scoring wheel to the scoring stylus. Okay, now this piece here, this is the very detailed piece. This is the lace piece, and I want to just kind of show you the machine, just let it kind of show you that even though it's smaller, even though it's smaller, it's still able to do very intricate things, such as this kind of lace doily effect. And I'll run it through its paces with some other things as well, but I was really impressed with the level of detail that this could achieve, the machine could achieve. So once we have all the pieces cut out, I'm not sure if we should wait until this is all cut out, but once we have the pieces cut out, just to let you know how to assemble it, first you have to work on the flower. The flower is 3 pieces. Right, 3 layers. I just want to clean this one piece up. And this happens sometimes where user error. It's user error. Okay, so fix up that. And with the 3 pieces, they're going to just kind of go, one on top of the other. But to give it some depth, what I do is I take my little mini scraper and holding the middle here with my left hand, or you can do it opposite if you're a lefty, and I just make sure you're holding it really good, okay? And then I take the scraper and I pull it so that it gives a little bit of a curl to it. You don't want to do it too much. And if you have ever used curling ribbon, this is the same sort of technique as curling ribbon. It just gives it a little bit of I don't know, depth, texture. I don't know what it's actually called, but that's what I do. And so all 3 of those, you can do that a little bit, and just be careful holding that middle and doing each petal. It's really important that you hold the middle, otherwise one of the petals might fall off. And by the way, if a petal falls off, it's not the end of the world, because there's 3 layers here, so it's not like it's going to be like, oh my gosh, it's so noticeable, right? And well, you guys all know how I feel about that. If it's perfect, it's probably not handmade, right? Because it's only perfection when it's done by a machine. And frankly, you know, I like machines and all, obviously, but I still feel like there's a great value to having handmade things, and also it's a great value in us, you know, emotionally and spiritually too, to doing something, making something handmade. And there's nothing wrong with us, you know, trying to use technology to make something handmade. But handmade is always sort of better, and if technology comes along to help us along, then it does. Isn't that great? So I made my flower. I'm waiting to finish up this piece, but here we've already got almost all the layers together. Here's my base. Again, you can with the base, you can use patterned paper. Why not? You know, you just have to trim it to 8.5 by 11 size and then cut it in half, okay? And then we're gonna put this mat on there. And I'm using this glue that I'm always using. It's called Art Glitter Glue. Let me show it to you. Art Glitter Glue. It's available. I buy mine at createforless.com, but you can buy it online as well. I'm not sure if it's available in craft stores, but I buy mine online, and they have pretty good prices. It lasts a long time. It dries clear, and it works really well. It does have a precision tip that you can add on here. I don't have it on here for now, but there is a precision tip that goes on there that is great for little teeny tiny pieces, okay? So we've got our base with the mat. We've got the flower. We're just waiting for the lace doily to finish up, and then we can do the leaves. So I'm trying to see, is it almost done? It's almost done cutting that lace doily. So I can't wait to show you what it's going to look like when it's done. It's so, wicked fabulous. It's so fabulous. The amount of precision that goes into these machines. Just so clever. And really just, how could you possibly ever cut this by hand? So, you know, you have to just be smart about it. And there's some things that, you know, you can do by hand, and other things you got to use the machine. All right, so here's the big reveal. Okay, so there's the outside piece. And then I'm going to, I always bend my mat, bend it. Let me just, to take it off, because you don't want, and there it is. Isn't that beautiful? Just so gorgeous. And I'm gonna work on that, but while I don't want to keep you too long, so while I'm doing that, I'm going to do the, I hope that I can, I'm not sure, maybe I can't do the leaves right now. Well, let's try it this way. Oh wait. Sorry, dog's barking. Hello, doggy. Okay, we just have to change this to matte. All right, here we go. Yep, now we're cooking with gas, folks. Sorry. Yes, doggy, doggy, doggy. Let's just get this going. Okay, here we go. Medium cardstock, and we're gonna do this. Let's do this thing. Oh, I know. You guys gonna have to wait for me. There we go. Okay, so while we're cutting the leaves, what I'll do is I'll clean up, you know, and there's just these little pieces here, whatever. Okay. Clean this out a little bit. And there you go. I mean, amazing, right? So pretty. So, and you know what? You don't have to put this like right in the middle. I did. I think this was started off as a ready to make project, and I think that they had it, they had it like over this way, but I don't know. I just put it right there. And you're going to use the glue to attach it here. And then let's get out our leaves. I want to show you how to attach the leaves. Okay. You can give the leaves a little bit of depth too by, you know, kind of folding them a little bit if you want. But then you just turn over your flower. Put a little glue on the stem. And put it under. There we go. Do the same with the second piece. Here we go. And there's our flower, and then we've got our doily, and we put that on there. Isn't that great? That's very simply how to make a card basically from scratch without using the card packs and using the Cricut Joy. It couldn't be any simpler. And if you want to see this card design space file, I'm going to leave it in the description of the video, so if you can grab it. As I mentioned, it did come from originally from like a ready-to-make card that I modified just to take out the card base. So that's something that you can consider when you're looking at what can I make with anything, with your Joy or with any machine. It's those ready-to-make projects really are a whole lot of fun, and they can be modified, which is something I really love, because you know, some things are like, I don't like this, but I like that. And so I start off and I sort of build, it's like a recipe, you know, you start off with what they suggest, and then you modify it. You modify it, add your own thing. Oh, isn't that the case with all recipes? It's the same thing, you know, you don't have to follow the recipe by, at least not for cooking. Baking maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so this is Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue, and I have just completed this wonderful card and talked about how to make your own card bases from 8.5 by 11 paper. I'll be back in a little while to talk about some other things that you can do with the Cricut Joy. In the meantime, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe. I really do appreciate it, and it really gives me all kinds of good vibes and enthusiasm to continue to do this. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day.